What if I told you that Jason Duval, the protagonist we're all hyped about in GTA 6, might have already crossed paths with Michael DeSanto over a decade ago? And not in some friendly encounter, but as the thief who stole something precious from him? Yeah, you heard that right. This isn't some wild Reddit conspiracy. This theory has actual weight behind it, backed by evidence hidden in plain sight, acknowledged by Ned Luke himself, and supported by Rockstar's own storytelling patterns. By the end of this video, you'll see GTA 5's most memorable father-son moment in a completely different light. And here's the kicker. Red Dead Redemption 2's Arthur Morgan, a character who didn't exist until 2018, is the key piece of evidence that makes this entire theory not just possible, but probable. Trust me, this isn't clickbait. This is about to blow your mind. But before we dive into the rabbit hole, let me set the stage for you. Because what started as a simple observation in GTA 6's second trailer has evolved into one of the most fascinating narrative connections Rockstar might have ever crafted. And it all begins with a stolen boat and a desperate phone call. The catalyst, Ned Luke's bombshell response. Recently, Ned Luke, the legendary actor behind Michael DeSanto, sat down for an interview that sent shockwaves through the GTA community. The interviewer asked him point blank, "Do you think Jason Duval could have been one of the thugs who stole Michael's boat in GTA 5? Now, most actors would brush this off as fan speculation. But Ned? He didn't dismiss it. Instead, he said something that changed everything. I think it's absolutely possible. Think about that for a second. The voice of Michael himself just validated a theory and that connects two games across different timelines. But why would he say that? What does he see that we might have missed? Let's break down the math. Jason appears to be in his early 30s in GTA 6, which takes place around 2025-2026. Roll back the clock to 2013, the year GTA 5's story unfolds, and Jason would have been roughly 17 or 18 years old. Not a seasoned criminal mastermind yet, but absolutely old enough to be running small-time heists with his partner Lucia. The timeline doesn't just work, it fits perfectly. And that's where this investigation truly begins. Because once you start looking for connections, you can't unsee them. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where it all started. A sunny day in Los Santos, a panicked phone call, and a father's worst nightmare. Revisiting the crime, father-son mission breakdown. Picture this. Franklin Clinton, hungry and ambitious, is trying to prove himself to Michael. He's practically begging for a shot at the big leagues. Then out of nowhere, Jimmy DeSanto's voice cracks through Michael's phone, terrified and desperate. "Dad, some gangsters just stole your boat!" For those who haven't touched GTA 5 in years, let me paint the scene. Franklin races to the marina, adrenaline pumping, and manages to leap onto the moving vessel. He saves Jimmy, sure, but here's the thing. The boat, gone. Michael tries to chase them down. His car breaks down at the worst possible moment, and those criminals vanish into the Los Santos sunset with his prized possession. We never saw their faces. We never learned their names. The game moved on, and so did we. It was just another wild day in Los Santos, right? Wrong. Because what if those faceless thugs weren't just random NPCs? What if one of them was a teenage Jason Duval, cutting his teeth on petty theft before graduating to the big leagues we'll see in Vice City? Now I know what you're thinking. That's a pretty big leap based on nothing. But hold that thought, because the visual evidence is about to make you a believer. And trust me, once you see what I'm about to show you, you'll never look at that boat the same way again. The smoking gun, side-by-side comparison, here's where things get spine-tingling. In GTA 6's second trailer, there's a brief shot, blink and you'll miss it, of a boat stored in Jason's garage. Not just any boat. A boat that looks suspiciously, almost impossibly similar to the one stolen from Michael 13 years earlier. Let's examine the evidence like detectives, shall we? The color scheme. Both boats feature nearly identical color patterns. Those distinctive stripes that run along the hull aren't just similar, they're practically twins. The same bold design, the same aesthetic choices, the hull design. Look at the front profile of both vessels. The shape, the contours, the way the bow curves. It's the same architectural DNA. Even the grille patterns match up with eerie precision. The wood paneling. Here's a detail most people miss. Both boats feature that same wooden accent section. Now, in GTA 6's trailer, the lighting makes it appear slightly lighter, but that could easily be attributed to the sun's angle or even restoration work over the years. The fenders. Okay, I'll be honest with you. There is one noticeable difference. The fenders, those protective bumpers on the sides, are darker in GTA 5 and white in GTA 6. But here's the thing. Fenders are replaceable. They're literally designed to take damage and be swapped out. Over 13 years, of course, Jason would have replaced them. The similarities aren't just coincidental, they're architectural. It's like comparing fingerprints. And this brings us to a crucial question. How did Jason end up with this boat in Vice City? The answer might lie in the very beginning of GTA 6's story, and it's darker than you think. The backstory, a heist gone wrong. According to Rockstar's official information about GTA 6, the game opens with Jason and Lucia attempting what should have been an easy score. A simple con, quick money, minimal risk. But as we all know, in the GTA universe, nothing ever goes according to plan. This botched heist is what lands. Lucia behind bars. The trailers show her in prison, that haunted look in her eyes, paying the price for their mistakes. After everything falls apart, they end up in Leonida, the GTA universe's version of Florida, trying to start fresh, trying to outrun their past. But here's the million-dollar question that nobody's asking. Where did this failed heist actually take place? Everyone assumes it happened in Vice City, but what if it didn't? What if the job that destroyed their lives went down in Los Santos? What if that easy score was stealing high-end boats from wealthy Los Santos residents? If this theory holds water, pun intended, it would mean Jason and Lucia were already operating in Los Santos back in 2013, young, reckless, and hungry for their next big score. They boost Michael's boat thinking it's just another rich guy's toy, but something goes catastrophically wrong. Maybe they were spotted, maybe they got greedy and tried for a bigger score, maybe local gangs got involved. Lucia gets arrested. Jason managed to escape, loading that stolen boat onto a trailer and driving across the country to Vice City, where he lies low, waiting for his partner to get out. 13 years later, that boat is still sitting in his garage, a reminder of the job that changed everything, the score that cost him the love of his life for over a decade. The pieces fit together too perfectly to be random, but there's something even more compelling that proves Rockstar does exactly this kind of narrative magic, and it involves a cowboy named Arthur Morgan, the Arthur Morgan precedent, Rockstar's blueprint. Here's where I'm going to blow your mind with a comparison that makes this entire theory not just plausible, but textbook Rockstar storytelling. Before October 26, 2018, Arthur Morgan didn't exist, not in Red Dead Redemption, not in any Rockstar game, not even as a throwaway line of dialogue. John Marston never mentioned him. The Vanderlinde gang story seemed complete. Then Red Dead Redemption 2 dropped, and Rockstar introduced us to Arthur, a character who was supposedly there all along, riding alongside John, Dutch, and the rest of the gang throughout the events that were only referenced in the first game. And you know what happened? Arthur Morgan became one of the most beloved characters in gaming history. Players didn't reject him for not being mentioned before. They embraced him. They cried at when he died. Many fans now prefer Arthur to John Marston himself. Rockstar took a plot hole and turned it into a masterpiece. They proved that retroactive continuity, when done with care and brilliant writing, doesn't break immersion, it enhances it. So here's my point. If Rockstar pulled this off in 2018, why wouldn't they do it again in 2025? They've already shown us they can weave new characters into existing stories seamlessly. Jason's stealing Michael's boat 13 years ago? That's child's play compared to creating an entire prequel. Protagonist who is always there. Connecting Jason to a classic GTA 5 mission would be one of the most subtle, brilliant Easter eggs in the franchise's history. It would make players revisit GTA 5 with fresh eyes. It would create YouTube videos, like this one, analyzing every detail. It would generate buzz and deepen the lore of the HD universe, but I'd be lying if I told you this theory is airtight. There are holes, legitimate contradictions that we need to address head on. Because if we're going to theorize like true GTA fans, we need to consider both sides of the argument.